We're joined by the Good Party General-Secretary Brett Heron, whose party has welcomed the suspension of Malusi Booi, but they're questioning the mayor's powers to suspend a Mayco member. Let's speak to Brett Heron now and find out exactly what it is that they are quibbling about. Brett, good morning to you, and thank you very much for your time. Let's start with exactly what you tweeted last night, and that tweet should be up on the screen at any minute now. In fact, it is up. I want to go straight to the first part that you raise, and that is that in terms of the powers, the executive mayor has the power to hire and fire, basically, but doesn't have the power to suspend. Talk to us further about that. On what basis, then, would Geordin Hill-Lewis would have suspended Malusi Booi?
Well, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. I mean, that's the question I raised. There's no power in the law for a mayor to suspend a member of his or her executive committee. So Section 60 of the Municipal Structures Act gives the mayor the power to fill a mayoral committee, so in other words, appoint 10 members, and to dismiss a member. There's no provision in the legislation for the suspension of a member of the executive, and I don't think there's that provision in any of the spheres of government. So his actions may appear to be as if he's taking action against Malusi Booi, but in fact the action, I think, is unlawful and quite meaningless, because what is a suspension if it is not provided for in the law?
Yeah.
How long will the person be suspended for? On what conditions? So I think he's acted unlawfully. He must decide if he's keeping Malusi Booi on his mayoral committee or dismiss him.
Yeah. All right. So we'll find out whether you're going to take any steps, but let me again make reference to that tweet, because you then ask the question, is this suspension a sort of an absence on full pay, and pending what outcome? Do we know for certain that now that he's been suspended, is he suspended on full pay, or is it without pay?
Well, I don't think the mayor's made that clear, and I think this is part of the problem. You know, if you are an employee in government service or an employee even in a private business, the labor laws regulate suspension with with your full pay or without. So, I mean, the labor law is quite well regulated for employees, but politicians who are appointed to executive office are not employees. And so those questions arise. So the mayor has now invented a suspension, which is not provided for in the law, hasn't described what that suspension means. Does he still hold the office but doesn't come in every day, doesn't exercise any of the oversight powers that he has, but still receives the salary of a mayoral committee member? What are the terms of that suspension, and when does the suspension end? If it is when the investigation ends, well, that could be 3 or 4 years from now. So I think that the mayor's acted unlawfully, and once again, the people of Cape Town are left in the dark.
Does the Good Party plan to take any action in relation to the questions you ask?
So we've got our councillors in the City of Cape Town Council will be posing questions to the mayor orally at the next council sitting, asking him these very questions. We will follow it up with written questions so we can get it in a formal reply, and then we'll go from there. But you know, the DA and its members and its mayors cannot be a party of the rule of law and then make up their own rules. And this is not the first time this mayor has done that. Just make up sort of by mayoral decree, I suspend you, or by mayoral decree, I put you on leave. As you heard the EFF say now, there are 2 members who are sort of absent from this mayoral committee. One is undergoing an internal disciplinary process, and now this Malusi Booi has got a criminal investigation.
Brett Heron, the Democratic Alliance is in a very, or let me put it this way, they are at a sensitive time, given that they are going into an elective conference early next month. I wonder whether these could be machinations arising from that, but it does seem that law enforcement is the one that precipitated this particular action from the mayor. But what does this say, though, about the DA's publicly held position, and that is that wherever they govern well, and they are on record as saying they run clean governments. Does that put paid to what is going on at the moment?
I think it does. I think that it shows that there's no real difference between the DA and the ANC, and that where they are in government, they are as easily corruptible as each other. There have been allegations about corruption in the housing department in the city of Cape Town for a long time. These have been raised consistently by the Good Party in council and by other parties in council, and have been ignored by the mayor and the DA. It's now that the police are acting that they are suddenly trying to appear to be taking action themselves by suspending Malusi Booi as a Mayco member, but there's no news yet on whether he's suspended as a member of the DA or terminated as a member of the DA. So I think, and there are other examples. I mean, currently the city of Cape Town is paying the legal fees for one of their other councillors who is being charged in the Commercial Crimes Court in Cape Town for money laundering and fraud related to COVID-19 food relief funds. So their halo of good governance is an illusion that they've managed to retain quite well through the help of the media, unfortunately. And we need some more skepticism and more scrutiny, because if you do look a little closer, you'll see that it's not a well-earned halo.
Well, now that you put it that way, and you include us in that in that context, the same could be said for you, that you should be providing political oversight. You should be playing what a good opposition should be doing, and bringing this stuff out publicly so that we're able to see indeed whether this good governance record does indeed exist. And then add to that your failure to capitalize on these scandals. You're going to otherwise remain in opposition.
No, I agree with you that we need to highlight these issues, and I don't think there's anyone in this country who follows what we do who can argue that we don't, or that we don't try. But let me give you an example of why I throw the media in the mix. When this councillor that I was talking about in Cape Town was accused of fraud and money laundering, and we issued a statement asking the then Mayor Dan Plato to confirm that there was an investigation, it was the media who told me that this is a conspiracy theory and it's not true. And then 3 days later, she was arrested.
We'll take that on the chin and do a better job next time. Brett Heron, thank you very much for your time, General Secretary of the Good Party.